Mr. Rodriguez here, and today I'm going to talk about this article I came across in the New York Times. I found it very ironic considering what's going on in our country, but it goes here. Will American ideas tear France apart? Some of its leaders think so. Politicians and prominent intellectuals say social theories from the United States on race, gender, and post-colonialism are a threat to French identity and the French Republic. So, first off, I just want to say the irony behind this is it's tearing apart our country. And the Times is talking about, Times Europe is talking about, will it tear apart France? Of course it's going to tear apart France. It's tearing us apart as a country. If it's destroying our fabric of unity as Americans, it's going to destroy the same. It's going to destroy the same French identity in France. It only makes sense. So I'm just going to go through some of this article, just because the fact that just seeing the if you want to call it an experiment, the whole social theory experiment that's going on in this country is just going over to other parts of the world, and it's you'll see this you could see the Marxist collectivist ideology behind it. I'll touch on base on that when we get to there's a link. It goes here. The threat is said to be existential. It feuds secessionism, nor is it national unity. Attacks France's intellectual and cultural heritage. The threat, certain social science theories, entirely imported from the United States, says President Emmanuel Macron. French politicians, high-profile intellectuals, and journalists are warning that progressive American ideas, specifically on race, gender, post-colonialism, are undermining their society. There's a battle to wage against an intellectual matrix from American universities. And where is it? It's funny. I've been reading about this for almost 10 years. And, I remember the talk was at first, once these kids, they get into the real world, they'll see things for the way they are, not the way they want it to be. They'll stop being idealistic. No, this is what happens. If they got to fight this, they got to fight this now, and this is what's going on. This is why some of the battles lost in this country, because what's going on is the universities have been teaching this to kids for a couple of generations. So now in these kids' minds, it's everything's racist, everything's a microaggression, everything is homophobic. If you don't agree to every single part of the ideology, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's been evolving, and we just see the peak of the craziness right now. And let's just, I'm going to keep going with this. Emboldened by these comments, prominent intellectuals have banded together against what they regard as contamination by the out-of-control woke leftism of American campuses and has attended cancel culture. Pitted against them is a younger, more diverse guard that considers these theories as tools to understanding the willful, blind spots of an increasingly diverse nation that still recoils at the mention of race, has yet to come to terms with its colonial past, and often waves away the concerns of minorities as identity politics. I'm a minority, and I will wave it off as identity politics too, because this is what's going on. This is how the collectivists are gaining power right now. The Marxists, I always use those two terms interchangeably, because to me it's pretty much the same thing. Here it goes. This is what I wanted to talk about. The publication of this book, critical of race studies by two veteran social scientists, I'm not going to even attempt to say their names. Well, actually, let me try. Stefan Bard and Gerard Norelli fueled criticism from younger scholars and has received extensive news coverage. Here's their study. The study is, I'm not going to attempt to say it in French, but I translated it into English, and it goes here, Race and Social Sciences. And here it goes. For Marxists, workers who lacked class consciousness were alienated, victims of the dominant ideology. Thanks to intellectuals who had the right revolutionary theory, they would regain their true identity. On the other hand, Bordeaux defends the idea that it is by respecting the autonomy of science that sociologists can escape the shortcomings of committed intellectual, and sociology can play a useful role in the city. Because producing knowledge about the actors in the social world is not for them nor telling them to behave, their injustices, inequalities, and discrimination reign, and it's above all to highlight these truths that social sciences must focus on. The racial question now occupies the public space. The author of this book wanted to get out of the media and political agenda and put the debate on the ground of the autonomy of the social sciences. Sorry about that, I kicked my own camera base, and now you can see my computer. So I'm just reading the article to you guys. This is the quote about the story, the book that's being published, or that's been published. I have a unique perspective in this, as that my degree is in sociology, so I can't see the whole dynamic of society and groups and cultures. The publication, as I said, the fierce French debate over a handful of academic disciplines on U.S. campuses may surprise those who have witnessed the gradual decline of the American influence in many corners of the world. It's like, if we're weakened by being divided. That's the whole, this whole critical race theory is just a shoot off of critical theory that's Marxist theory. And it's, they couldn't do it with class, so now they're doing it by race. And it's working now, as opposed to when they try to do it by class, because everybody wants to try to get out of being poor. So people work hard to do it. They try to push their kids up and so forth. But what's going on now is we sent our kids to college. I'm being one of them also. My parents sent me to college. Just so happened I got lucky. I didn't go to I first went to a college that pushed my thoughts and opened my mind to new ideas, especially taking philosophy as a freshman. It's like getting into an argument with your professor that he's there saying, imagine a world that's white. How would you know what's color? So I told him, imagine a world where everything was good. How would you know what's evil? And he's like, that doesn't make sense. Okay. So those type of conversations with your philosophy teacher, they'll get you thinking. They'll get you to have an open mind. You can see the reach of American identity politics and social science theory. Some center-right lawmakers press for a parliamentary investigation into ideological excesses at universities and singled out guilty scholars on Twitter. Macron, who had shown little interest in these matters in the past, has been courting the right ahead of elections next year. Jumped in last June when he blamed universities of encouraging the ethnicization of the social question. So I see where this article is going. So you see the framing device. I've said this in other stuff where it goes here. Macron has been courting the right. So that's what it's called when they're worried about basically the breakdown of their country. Like I said, it's happening here. So of course this is meant to destroy the social democracies from within. And it's funny. It started with the Soviets, and now it's continuing with the Chinese. And so, what are we going to do? What I say is, you have people who on the right need to go into universities. They need to. I know people want to make money, and you can make money in university, but we need to teaching the young minds and have a different narrative of what they're being taught. Like this book here is something that this book here is something that we could use to teach and go from there. But if you want to read the whole article, I could post a link. But I try to keep my videos anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. I try not to go past that, just because I know, people don't have a lot of time. So with that, this is important. This is important. I mean, to see if it's going to tear apart France, it's working over here already. So if it's going to tear apart France, it's going to tear apart. It's going to work there because it's already working here. What do we do to combat it? I mean, I can't speak for France. I mean, it looks like France wants to start that battle. I don't know if Macron's serious about it. But here in the U.S., like I said, we need to. We're behind. Libertarians, right-leaning people, conservatives, we're behind because universities have been doing this for generations. And so now, unless you teach your kids well before they go to college, they may be going in with open minds and leaving with closed minds. And so it starts at home, and it starts with instilling our values to our children, and making sure that when we send them off sheep among the wolves, that they could fight for themselves and that they don't just become sheep, that they could learn to be the wolf. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe on Rumble. Give me a little rumble there. Let's shake the camera by mistake at the same time, so that's kind of funny. Please leave comments. I appreciate comments for people who give me some feedback on these videos so I could know how to improve my content. So with that being said, have a good one.